Brad Olsen, brother. It's good to meet you. Awesome here at this conference, and I watched your panel and some of your presentation. It was very interesting. I've never done a show about giants. Can you believe that? I've never done. My show's called Raised by Giants, and I've never done a show about giants.
How have you been able to avoid it this long?
I don't know. It's weird, but you've done a lot of research into giants. So give us a little background on what we know archaeologically about giants and if they existed.
Well, they existed because there's a fossil and bone record of them that can't be explained or doesn't want to be explained by modern archaeology. They would rather destroy the evidence, as the Smithsonian has been documented doing on many occasions, from all the giants found in the mound sites all the way across North America. And they're so anomalous because not only are they very, very tall, much taller than even the tallest human beings have been, up in the double-digit feet measurement, but they had double rows of teeth sometime and an extra digit on their hand and feet. So they're human-like, but they're not human. And this is somewhat parallel to why there's been a cover-up with aliens and ETs, because that's kind of what these giants were.
Are these any way related to the elongated skulls that's been found in Peru and the Paracas skulls and all that? Are giants in any way connected to that in your
Well,
research?
that is it. That is what I'm talking about. Those elongated skulls have 30% larger cranial capacity. So if you can just imagine a big 16-inch softball on the back of your head, 30% larger brains, presumably a larger body that goes along with that.
Has any of these been DNA tested at all?
Yes. Claus Dona was in Ecuador. He got a giant and he tested it that it had female human DNA, but an unknown father DNA. And that's very significant because that was the same finding that Brian Forrester also got examining the Paracas elongated skulls in Peru. And those DNA tests came back unknown father, but matriarchal DNA of a female mother. So it appears that what the Bible said in Genesis, that the men of renown, the giants of old, took an interest in earth women and mated with them, creating a bit of a hybrid, I guess you could say, way back when. But those genes have been recessive and turn up in modern humans today, including even double rows of teeth, including even an extra digit. There are humans alive today that have those regressive genes. So I think part of those ancient giants, those elongated skulls, which I figured to be the Nephilim, which is a hybrid between the Anunnaki and human, and give them the credit where credit's due, that these elongateds are still on this planet today, and probably the ones really calling the shots and running the show, because a 30% larger brain means that they have more psi abilities, more computing abilities, and perhaps are telepathic and are able to control normal humans in that capacity to do what they need us to do for them.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was talking with Richard Dolan earlier, and he made a statement about that it's possible that a extraterrestrial species or an extraterrestrial race is intentionally dumbing us down, like our psychic abilities, our ESP abilities, because they know that we have the potential to be more than they are. I don't know if that really makes
Well, it
sense.
makes sense in the way that we would catch up to them. And if we were their equals mentally and with these psi abilities, well, geez, I guess they're little tricks to control this planet and have other people do their bidding for them. That would all become very transparent. And I think we'd see right through it. And if somebody is offered the opportunity to be a free and sovereign human being, once they know how to shake the yokes of oppression and be a free person, or to continue being a slave, I think everybody would choose the former.
Absolutely. Do you know anything about USOs and UFOs that's been seen over the ocean? It's kind of becoming a really popular topic right now. They're kind of shifting to USOs and people, Navy aircraft that has been seeing these craft fly into the ocean and fly out of the ocean. What do you think is going on there? Do you think that there are transorbitable dimensional craft that can go anywhere in space and time through any kind of environment? What's happening there with that?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's a brand new phenomenon, even though the Pentagon is coming out with their own videos and it's even making the mainstream media. Lester Holt on NBC Nightly News just about a month ago saying, the Pentagon says there's a mothership right here in our solar system. Oh, it took you that long to figure that out, huh? So it seems to me that this is a planned disclosure. It's a drip, 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 drip of disclosure. It's becoming more of a steady stream with these kind of admissions. But these craft and these species have been with us throughout our history. They just preferred to stay veiled, more secrecy for their own protection. But we've been taught that all these visitors are from up there. They're extraterrestrials, extra being a planet system far, far away from ours. But all the while, we might have inner terrestrials right below our feet. And I find it somewhat paradoxical that the whole alien solution here might be a terrestrial issue. It might not even be an off-planet type thing. Then when you really get deep into the abilities of some of these advanced beings, they're also ultra-terrestrials. And that is, they can transition through dimensional space in so much that they could phase right through a wall, for example. That was recorded with trying to capture gray. Until they created a Faraday cage environment, they were able to just walk right out. So this has been very beneficial to study ETs, and then the little bits of information that we get from how they did it and what they gleaned from these species as far as their abilities allows us to see at what level are they interdimensional or ultra-terrestrial beings. Because when you get to the higher level, well, above 5D is pure love. You have to have very high emotions to be there. And that's why the reptilians and the gray species, they've just chosen not to do that. They prefer to be the conquering race and to hold dominion. We're not the only prison planet that they've set up, and we surely won't be the last. They chose that because they're more successful and more in control. But humans have the great opportunity now to make the great leap, and we could just skip the fourth dimension altogether and go right into this higher overtone of love and peace and harmony. And I think that will be the big transition on this planet for humans, having these abilities as well, that we will make this great leap forward. And those who are of this mindset will be able to experience it in the same lifetime that they were born into this dense third dimensional reality. I'm not saying that we're all just going to disappear here, but
Right.
we will have these superhuman abilities, which I describe in my esoteric series of books as a potential for the human race to have.
Yeah, I think you just touched on something very, very important, and it's a missing thing within the UFO community and the extraterrestrial community, is that everybody thinks that these beings are coming from outside of the planet. They're completely skipping over the fact that they are probably terrestrial beings
Right.
from here, and we've misidentified and mistaken them as being something coming from off the planet. And I think that that is, and it's been our fault as a public. We've done that to ourselves, right? Because we see something in the sky, we automatically think we can't identify it, and then we think, oh well, it must be extraterrestrial, it must be somebody from someplace else, right?
Ours or theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually
So
they're ours.
9 times out of 10, I think that the majority of the things that we see in the sky are our technology, military technology. Now,
Yeah.
where they got that technology from is
Aliens,
debatable. So
Backward engineering for over 100 years. We know the Nazis have been doing it since the 1920s. and they acquired Downcraft in the Black Forest in 1930, a very publicized case. They also got a craft from Mussolini, a very intact UFO that he turned over to the German scientists because he knew how good they were at backward engineering. So we've been doing this for known for over a century now. And so you got to think that these secret space programs are very advanced with technology. As the former head of Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works said, his name was Ben Rich, upon his deathbed, he had a change of heart and decided to spill his guts. He says, we already have the technology to take ET home. We have a backward engineered technology that is hundreds of years in our future. So we're already living in our Star Trek future. However, that's been hijacked from the common people. It's only known to a select few. And that's why I chose the name esoteric in my book series, because that's what it means. It's just, this is known to only a few people on this planet, but I feel like everybody should know this. And it's very important that we understand our suppressed human origins, because we're certainly not being told the whole picture there as far as being raised by giants.
Absolutely. And then you have Lyndon B. Johnson talking about in 1947 about to the Democratic caucus, saying that space is the superposition. From space, you can basically do anything. You can track people, you can surveil people, you can control the weather, you can control the tides. And then in 1952, we have this operation that's called Operation Looking Glass, which was an Air Force command post in space to set up a nuclear command post to be able to launch nukes from Earth, from space. So you have all these people that are talking about, and I think that might be a really big reason for the weaponization of space, because now we have Space Force, right? And it seems like that is the kind of direction that they're going. And then you have Elon Musk putting these Starlink satellites in Earth orbit too. And I just watched an episode with interview with Elon Musk the other day, and he denies the existence of extraterrestrials. He says that he's seen zero proof and zero evidence of extraterrestrials. And he says that if the universe is so populated, then where are they at? What are they doing? And I think that they're just below our feet. I think that they're here and they've been here. Right?
And there's also top secret clearances and non-disclosure agreements, and the CIA directing the narrative, and people like Elon Musk with his SpaceX going into outer space, who must know that there are and have even been filmed near some of the launch platforms and then up around our satellites and orbiting astronauts. The space station has many accounts of anomalous craft. And the telltale sign is when they do the 90-degree turn, and the space station has caught some of those. And then, all of a sudden the feed goes black, because what that is are extraterrestrial craft or interdimensional. They all have this ability. One thing with the ultra terrestrials, when you get to above seventh dimension, you lose your physical form. So then you're just a spiritual form. You don't need a craft at all. You can travel as quickly as the speed of your thought. However, you're not a physical being anymore, so you can't create and affect our world.
Yeah.
And so that's the big difference, because these craft must be beings from third, fourth, fifth, possibly sixth dimension, because when they go into the hyperspace and make that perfect right degree angle, they're basically shifting to a next dimensional level. And then, of course, they disappear.
So do you think that there are physical extraterrestrials
Definitely
here on the planet?
Yeah, as extraterrestrial as a hybrid human could be. They would be as solid as you and I, but they have much greater psi abilities. So they're telepathic. They can probably use their psi abilities to affect the material world, telekinesis, bending spoons from a distance, but also being able to astral travel, remember their past lives, remote viewing. All of these are superhuman abilities. We all have these abilities within us, but of course we weren't taught that in school. And this is why they don't want the human race to wake up, because when we do, then we are at an equal keel playing field with them, and they lose that advantage of having these psi abilities over us. So all we have to do is really remember how to do it again, and we can become multidimensional beings, perhaps even ultra terrestrials.
Yeah, like Star Wars. I got the high ground. You can't get me. Yeah. Obi-Wan's got the high ground. Don't want Anakin up there.
That's right.
But yeah, that's really interesting. And I think that because going to a lot of these conferences and talking with a lot of people, it really seems like something is really missing from the conversation here. And it's a lot of regurgitated information. And I was talking to, don't mean to keep bringing up Richard Dolan here, but I was talking to him about this too. And I'm like, hey, like I've come to several of these before. I've spoken with a lot. I've been doing my show for like 3 years. And it seems like the same questions are basically asked every year. You know, whenever you have a panel in there, I watch you in there on that panel. And it's like the same types of questions are always asked. And it seems like it's not moving the narrative or the any further at all, right? It's like we're all at like a standstill here and things aren't progressing, you know? And what do you think that missing piece of this UFO and alien phenomenon is, in your opinion?
Well, what we've been talking about today is identifying these giant bones, doing more DNA testing on them to examine interterrestrials. Maybe they didn't ever come from anywhere. Maybe they've been living in civilizations within inner Earth. We already know that there's hundreds of deep underground military bases, so it's not beyond the pale of improbability that we're living underground. Humans are already underground, some even most of their lives underground. So it's not too far of a stretch of the imagination to think that other advanced races might be doing that too. That's what I would like to see in the advancement of ufology, is to really get down to the root of the matter about what's going on right here on this planet.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks so much, Brad. Appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.